If someone is unresponsive and not breathing, here's how to give CPR and use a defibrillator. So first, if you come in, take a deep breath, clear your head. It's what they used to say, check for danger. It's about being aware of surroundings, making sure you're not putting yourself at risk, and ensuring that you have taken the time to breathe and clear your head. So you are going to do the right thing for the people you're trying to help. So you check for danger, you check for response, you speak to them, you tap them, and you check to see if there's any response at all. There is no response. You are then going to phone for the emergency services and put your phone on speaker. Carry on checking for breathing while you're waiting for the call handler to answer the call. And they will help you establish whether or not it really is a cardiac arrest or whether they are breathing normally, because sometimes it's quite difficult to establish. So when somebody is unresponsive or unconscious, you expect them to be completely floppy and lifeless. However, because of the lack of oxygen to the brain, it's possible that that person, that their arms might go up, or that they are panting, or they're having slow, laboured breathing called agonal gasps, where the lungs have stopped, well, the heart stopped working, but the lungs have still got a sort of reflex action going on. It's not proper breathing. It's not getting the oxygenation to the brain. But it's quite difficult to establish what is clear, normal breathing, and what isn't. So if you are on your own, you would check for danger, check for response. You open the airway, you tilt the head and lift the chin. So one hand on the head, 2 fingers on the chin, and then you would check for breathing. So you've got your phone on speaker. You are doing this while you're waiting for the call handler to answer. And you're looking for at least 2 normal breaths in a 10-second period. If you get 2 normal breaths in that 10-second period, you would put the person into the recovery position, providing you're not concerned that they may have fallen from a height or had some form of a spinal injury. In which case you would be very careful and you would monitor their airway closely and be ready to carefully roll them into the recovery position if their airway becomes blocked or obstructed in any way. So you check for danger, you've checked for response, you've opened the airway, you've checked for breathing, and there are less than 2 normal breaths in that 10-second period, or in up to 10 seconds. You are now going to have to do CPR. For an adult, you're going to be pushing down 30 compressions to 2 breaths. 30 to 2, 30 to 2, 30 to 2. When you're giving the breaths, each time you would tilt the head and lift the chin. If you haven't been on a first aid course and had a go on a mannequin and been trained to do this, and you are phoning the emergency services in this situation, the emergency services will talk you through compression only CPR. That is because learning how to tilt the head and lift the chin and open the airway is quite complicated in an emergency situation. So they will focus on the compressions and on you doing those hard and fast in the center of the chest, getting a defibrillator if you can, and doing this effectively whilst they get the emergency services on the way. If you have been trained in basic life support, doing the compressions and the breaths are important. They do give someone an even better chance of survival. So if you have been trained, you tell the call handler that you've been trained to do it, and they will adapt so that you can do the compressions and breaths. Okay, so just going back to recognizing that breathing, it's been shown that if somebody suddenly collapses, it's far more likely it's a cardiac arrest that has happened. So consequently, you need to be looking for those signs and be aware that if it's somebody that's been exercising and they're panting, that is also a sign that they could have a cardiac arrest. So if they have collapsed, they're unresponsive and they are panting, you should suspect cardiac arrest. And again, the call handler will help you to establish what you should be doing in those situations. So going back to our person, unresponsive and not breathing normally, we are doing 30 compressions. So heel of your hand, center of the chest. So for a female, it would be exactly the same. You're going to push down hard and fast on the sternum, so between the breasts. And please give CPR to females. Sadly, 25% of women are less likely to have a defibrillator used on them or to have CPR used in public. So exactly the same for a woman. Your breasts will just go sideways and you can actually get to the sternum. Okay, so you are going to be pushing down hard and fast in the center of the chest, on the sternum there, heel of your hand. You don't want to have too much weight on the ribs. So you're up over the top, pushing down hard and fast. 2 per second, 5 to 6 centimeters depth, and that will be circulating the blood to the heart and the brain. So when you are pushing on the chest, you are being the heart for them. When you're breathing into them, you are being the lungs. So you tilt the head and lift the chin to open the airway. So you're tilting the head and lifting the chin, opening the airway like that. You're holding the nose and you're breathing into them to re-oxygenate them. So that's what you are doing. You're breathing in just to the point where you inflate the lungs, and then you are doing 2 breaths and back to the compressions. If you are being taught how to do this or talked through how to do this by a call handler, then the call handler will just teach you how to do compressions. So please tell them you have been on a first aid course, if you have, and learnt how to do compressions and breaths, because that gives somebody an even better chance. So they will be just talking you through compressions because they will assume that you probably haven't been CPR trained. So it is too complicated in an emergency situation to try and teach someone how to tilt the head, open the airway and get the breaths down if they've never done it on a mannequin. Okay, so you're doing 30 compressions up over the top. You are pushing down hard as you can on the center of the chest. You are then tilting the head, lifting the chin, holding the nose and breathing in, giving 2 breaths and then back to the compressions again. You're calling for a defibrillator as quickly as you can. The faster you can get one on the chest, the better their chances. And you're going to put the pads, one here and one here. And again, doesn't matter if they're female or they're male, you're not going to put the pads on top of breast tissue. You're just going to put them up here and under the armpit on this side. So you would peel off one side here, one side here. You can put it this way round or you can put it this way round. It's up by the armpit, just under the armpit, and it's across the ventricles of the heart. So you're getting the maximum adhesion to get that shock going across there. The defibrillator talks to you. It will tell you what to do. It will tell you when to stand clear. It will tell you when to give a shock or when it's giving a shock if it's an automatic one, and you just follow the prompts and keep going. The ambulance is on its way and you're giving this person the very best chance. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please share with others. We have a wealth of free resources on our websites, www.firstaidforlife.org.uk and onlinefirstaid.com. You can also subscribe to our channel.